Hey there! Today we're going to talk about this ink. And this ink is Diamine Delamere Green. Tim sent me a sample of that ink, Delamere Green. I didn't have it. Whoops, I didn't own it. No, it's not on me. So we have to thank Tim for supplying me with this. It's a very interesting green. It reminded me a little bit of Vert Reseda by Gerbin. There were some other influences. It's a very typical green, and I can see how this would appeal to a number of people because it is typical. It's dark, and it has some interesting shading to it. So I think it's pretty fascinating. I have not yet cleaned... Oh wait, I have cleaned one pen. I put this in one pen. Sorry, I think in the writing part of the video I said I haven't cleaned it yet. I have done that, and it was easy to clean out. So take a mental note of that. Not particularly difficult to clean. Interesting ink, flows well. A little prone to feathering on some papers, especially the cheaper papers. But in all, I'd say a very interesting ink. So what we're going to do is an extensive writing sample, including some tests that you are fairly familiar with by now. And that's all there's to it. So I hope that's going to be useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Alright, so here we go with drumroll. The ink is not really called drumroll, I just said drumroll. Diamine Railroad. The ink is not really called Railroad. I just said Railroad. Delamere Green. There we go. Okay. Fine writing. The quick brown fox. Went to Delamere. Fox, my X's are still a little odd. Okay. Fine. Medium. Broad. And italic. Note the improved X. Ah, Delamere. Delamere, the beautiful city with its Gothic cathedral from the 1300s, the infamous tennis court, and the lovely seaside. I may have made that up on the spot. I've no idea what Delamere actually is. Flexi writing. One thing Delamere really is well known for, and that is something I do know for a fact, is its foxes, the Delamerian fox. Look it up on YouTube or maybe Wikipedia, the Delamerian fox. It's a well-known thing. Anyway, some passes with a 6mm nib. I think I've said that before, but I really love how with these pilot parallels you can use the corners of the nib to write with. Very useful for calligraphy. 1, 1, 1. Okay. Let me talk a little bit about the ink while this stuff dries. A nice green, pretty good shading. If you look at the this sample, for example, or this one, the broad or the italic, I think you can get a fairly good feel of the amount of shading you get. I'm actually overexposing my camera a bit. Someone suggested that, and I hope it will bring out the colors a bit more vividly than the camera seems to do regularly. So, some nice shading, pretty good flow, a little bit of railroading in the flex pen, but let's face it, I mean that's typical stuff to do with a pen anyway. Not every ink is equally suited to do that. Okay, let's prepare for some tests we should do, because this is still a bit wet. I'll write a large letter here, or form a large letter. If you hear a typical scratching noise, it's Dan the rat. He's chewing on some wood. Okay, now that we are here, yep. Second pass. Alright, then we do a bit of writing. I think I should start working on the scorecard because this is not yet completely dry. We have cleaning, not sure, haven't cleaned a pen yet. Bleed through, we'll have to check out later. We have the color, clearly a dark green. We have the shading, which I'd say is very good. We have the flow, which is good. We have feathering, we'll have to check that out later. We have drying time, which seems to be okay. Maybe a little bit on the long side, but this is Rhodia, etc. Waterproofness, we'll have to check that later. Right now, before I forget, let me do a third pass, and then I think we should start to do some testing. Alright, okay, so I think today we start with that sad moment where we see our ink disappear, the bastard brush. Okay, then we have the eyedropper of death. Whoops. I spilled a bit of death, sorry. Then, of course, there is the moment you've all been waiting for, the Tardif test. And finally, always quite popular for some unknown reason, the brown benchmark. And today I seem to be dropping a lot. I've dropped some extra death, I have dropped some extra brown benchmark. Let's do a double benchmark. There we go, and that's a lot of benchmark. Anyway, I'll just put the cap on that vial so that I don't spill that too. I think we have to get rid of some excess water here. So this was contaminated just a little bit with brown benchmark, but we'll survive. Getting rid of that, okay. So, let's interpret these test results. Imagine going to a doctor and he says, yes, well, it's all, I'm afraid we have to do some more tests. I think a brown benchmark and a bastard brush are in order today. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Anyway, so, the eyedropper of death. What has it shown us? The writing is gone. The bastard brush, what has it shown us? The writing is gone. There's a little bit of writing left, but a lot of it has suffered tremendously. The Tardif test indicates a nice bit of shading, I would say, going from dark to a lighter green. It's a little bit like Vert Reseda by Gerbin. I think that is just a little brighter. That's about this color, I would say. And then we have the brown benchmark, showing us that the ink can splatter around quite a bit and gives us some nice shading in the process. Okay, these three passes, what do they show us? They show us that the ink goes from a fairly dark green to a really dark green, which is a little bit Lierre Sauvage-like, and this is perhaps a bit in the Private Reserve Avocado range. I'm not going to compare this ink to all of those other inks. I have another one I want to compare the ink with at the end of the video, but for now, let's stick with this. Okay, so we've established the shading, we've done this. I think it's time to move on to some Copier paper. Notice that this underlay is getting more and more interesting with all the brown benchmarks. But that's a whole different matter. Okay. La! Yes, I'm ready. I've cleared my throat and I'm ready to go. Fine writing. Delamere. Built in 1240. Well known. For its Gothic cathedral. As well as its special tennis court. And the special biscuits. Cold, delicate. Delamere Darlings. Named after Betty Darling, the first person to ever bake a Delamere Darling. A bit of fat writing. And some flexy writing. You can do it, boy. Railroad. Drop. A sudden brown benchmark. Sorry. Caught you off guard, didn't I? Sorry. Flex. I only occasionally scare myself, don't worry. There's brown benchmark on my desk. Bugger. Well, anyway, clean that up later. Flex! Well, we've got everything, I would say. Professor Tarquin down, very easy. So, Professor, what are you doing here? I was just dropping by. So, please go on with the Inkcyclopedia entry, whatever it is you're doing. Don't let me be distracted by me, you know. It's things. Ah, yes. Thank you. I'll just finish this up, and then we'll have that discussion. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, writing. Again, shading. I don't think it is as apparent as on the Rhodia, but this paper is more absorbent, so that's what you would expect. I do see a bit of feathering. Let me grab the Tardif proboscis to show this again. This doesn't reflect too much, right? I'll try to keep it. Okay. I see some feathering right there in a broad nib. Not a whole lot of feathering in the other nibs. Here we have the fat writing. I see some feathering there actually, and a bit there, and the really inky bits. There's a lot of feathering going on in the flex writing, but that is flex on copier paper, so you know that's what's to be expected. And of course, we have another brown benchmark, which is actually quite artistic. This one, I would say. It looks like a tunnel, sort of like a portal that you fly into. You see all the stuff flying out, and the things. Well, never mind. So that's this. I think we should finish up our scorecard. Oh, let's have a look at bleed-through. Severe bleed-through. With the flex writing, the fat writing, the brown benchmark. I guess you don't do a lot of brown benchmarking in your everyday writing, so that should be fine. Broad, definite bleed-through. Italic, definite bleed-through. Medium, a bit. Even with fine, just a bit. So this ink seems to be prone to bleeding through a bit, because I haven't exerted excessive pressure or anything. On the Rhodia paper it seems to be okay. Then again, who uses Rhodia on a daily basis? If you're forced to use copier paper or other cheaper papers, then you may have some bleed-through issues. Okay, let's finish up that scorecard. And I'll do a comparison with one ink that I picked to the best of my abilities. Let me see. Bleed-through. Okay to good. Depends on the paper, but I guess that's the same caveat every week. Okay, feathering, well, I would say again, okay to good depending on the paper. But you see this, I would say this ink is a bit prone to feathering. Not so much on the Rhodia, but it's almost impossible to make an ink feather on Rhodia, I think. Okay, waterproofness, well, it's pretty poor. The ink was almost obliterated. Okay, then let us do that final comparison. So what we have is here is Delamere, should go a bit slower, sorry. Delamere, and a patch of ink. This is a better patch. I was digging into the paper a bit too much here. You see I got paper fibers on the nib, that's why this line is so wide all of a sudden. Sorry about that, the nib was a little too sharp, I'm afraid. Okay, now I could hardly make this ink right in this Ahab for some reason, so I hope this is going to work. But I was thinking of comparing it to... oh look, beautiful. Private Reserve Spearmint. A favorite of many. At least that's what I hear on the tube and other similar establishments. Someone once gave me a sample of this. I think it's a wonderful green. I try to exert not too much pressure here. And this is with a bit more pressure. You can see, I would say, now this is going to sound ridiculous, but I would say this is a bit more of a green than Delamere. This has a sort of, I don't know, it's difficult to describe, but this is a real archetypal green. I don't know, this is a bit darker, this has this really sparkly, vibrant green color in it. This is a bit different. Both are nice inks. I mean, I'm not saying this is a better ink, but it's just the color. I hope the photographs can make that clear to everyone what I mean. So there you have it. I hope that this comparison was okay. It was difficult to find an ink like it, as I said. Vert Reseda by Gerbin might be another good comparison. A little brighter, that one. But there you have it. So, thanks to Tim for sending me a sample of this ink so that we could put it in the Inkcyclopedia. My friends, this was the entry for Delamere Green. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.